We've all been there. Someone brings up AI, the cloud, or cybersecurity in a meeting, and we just nod along, hoping no one asks us to define them. But these terms are no longer optional vocabulary. These invisible systems are actively making choices for us, curating our feeds, filtering our messages, deciding what media we consume next. The truth is, none of this is magic. There is no conscious machine trying to take over. These are mechanical processes hiding behind complex terminology. To understand them, we must stop seeing abstract concepts and start seeing physical building blocks that are assembled in a specific order. Breaking down this infrastructure is the only way to move from being a passive user to an informed participant in a digital world. Data sits at the very bottom of the entire digital stack. It is the absolute raw material of your digital life. Every song you skip, every product you search for, and every second you spend hovering over an image. This raw material acts as the literal fuel for the entire digital ecosystem. Without a constant supply of it, the systems above it have nothing to process. This diagram shows a scale mechanism where a massive cluster of positive data nodes completely outweighs a tiny cluster of negative ones. When the raw material is this unbalanced, we have a biased dataset. When an algorithm is fed this skewed information, it mathematically fails. During a sentiment analysis project I worked on, my model was fed a dataset made of mostly positive reviews. Because the fuel was highly lopsided, the engine learned to label almost everything as positive, rendering the entire system useless. If the foundational data is flawed at the source, every subsequent layer of technology built on top of it will carry that failure forward. All that raw data has to live somewhere, which brings us to the cloud. Despite the name, the cloud is a physical server sitting in a massive, distant data center. By moving your information off your own phone and onto these remote computers, your data becomes instantly accessible from any device, anywhere. Remote storage acts as a built-in failsafe. I once accidentally deleted a project on my laptop, but because the cloud had already synced the changes to an external server, my work was waiting for me the moment I logged back in. Cloud computing is simply the act of outsourcing physical storage and risk to the internet to guarantee your information stays persistent. Inside that storage warehouse is where we find artificial intelligence. Rather than a sci-fi entity, AI functions as a high-speed mechanical sorting engine. This schematic shows the mechanism of narrow AI. Thousands of data points pass through a filter to instantly generate a single, highly probable prediction. The engine looks at your past actions, what you've watched or typed, and uses math to calculate what is most likely to come next. This sorting engine is entirely dependent on the layers below it. It requires all the raw data to analyze and the massive physical scale of the cloud to securely house the calculations. AI is a statistical engine, and its efficiency is strictly limited by the quality of the data it is allowed to consume. Because this stack of data, cloud storage, and AI is so interconnected, it is vulnerable. Cybersecurity is the mandatory protective barrier wrapping around all of it. Cybersecurity functions as digital hygiene. It is the common-sense barrier between your private identity and those who want to track, trick, or lock you out of your accounts. Here is a schematic of a multi-layered defense, like two-factor authentication. When a phishing attempt tries to open the vault, a second distinct lock engages to stop the breach. Because these systems are linked, a single weak password or a lapse in digital hygiene threatens the structural integrity of your entire digital life. When you look at the complete system, the logic is clear. Data provides the fuel, the cloud stores it, AI processes it, and cybersecurity protects the stack. You don't need a technical degree to navigate this safely. You only need an understanding of these underlying mechanics. Shifting from a mindset of intimidation to one of structural awareness makes it much harder for you to be exploited or misled online. These systems use your data to predict and then influence the news you see, the products you buy, and the information you trust. By understanding how these mechanical systems operate, you take back control over who gets to shape your digital reality.